This is one of our amazing partners we are really proud of. My own background has been literature and Islamic studies, and when I was doing my Islamic studies course many years ago, I did it on Islamic miniature painting, and guess where I ended up here? And my God, what a collection they have. Absolutely amazing collection of manuscripts from across the world, from the Islamic world included. And when I thought of the idea, and the founder director of MACFEST, my first thought was John Raylands. So since 2018, we have been hosting events in partnership with John Raylands. And we had what a feast. Every year we had a feast. In the first 2 years, we had an event upstairs in a main lovely building along those historical corridors with all these gorgeous manuscripts being opened up, and we loved it. And then came COVID, and COVID meant digital. And of course, through digital, we managed to go through so many manuscripts, going to the fine work, and it was an incredible journey for us. This year, they wanted to be back here, live event. And for me, it's very special today. You know what? What they've done is combine poetry with manuscript. What can be better than that? And this is just up our street. Normally for John Raylands' event in the Museum and Libraries Festival, this year this event is actually in the Festival of Words and Literature and Books. So incredible feast, incredible 4 people who are going to share with you Arabic poetry, Turkish poetry, and Iranian poetry, Persian mashallah. And then to go along with that, you've got the manuscripts. So this is for today. I think they've got a packed program, so we're going to hand it back to Gemma. Thank you so much, Gemma and Sophie and the team for organising. This is their event, they've organised it. Please a round of applause for all their hard work.
The meticulous choice of words and the skillful use of onomatopoeic effect by which he achieves great musicality. A witty man of the world in his private life, Baki rejuvenated optimal lyric poetry, breaking with the strict laws of classical prosody and instilling a freshness and vitality of both form and imagery that won him the coveted title of Sultan Shuara, King of Poets, during his lifetime. That's very extraordinary, as most Ottoman poets died in poverty and without much appreciation from their contemporaries. Born in Istanbul, Baki was the son of Mahmud Efendi, a muezzin at the Fatih Mosque. He did not have the means to lead a comfortable life, that's for sure. Therefore, he worked as a candle boy at the mosques throughout his early childhood. The young Baki had a strong passion for reading. He studied under the famous scholars of his time at the Süleymaniye Madrasa, a newly established college in the 16th century. And during his years of study, Zati noticed and valued Baki's poems. Baki found a place among Istanbul's poets when he was just 18 or 19. Zati's poet and artist friends would often congregate at his geomancy shop, and this was the popular art of self-divination in the courtyard of the Bayezid Mosque. Baki, as his poems also reveal, was a regular guest at the salons and private entertainments of Sultan Süleyman the Magnificent, who reigned between 1520 and 1566. And he became a noted scholar and jurist and rose to become the chief magistrate of Rumelia after European provinces of the Ottoman Empire. And this was the second highest canonical position in the Ottoman lands. Baki is often considered the greatest poet of the 16th century golden age of Ottoman Turkish literature. Like other noted poets of his day, Baki published his poetry in a collection called a Divan, a poetry collection like this manuscript. And these were in circulation in manuscript form between the 16th and 19th centuries until printing technology replaced hand production of books in the Ottoman Empire. As a result, Baki's collection exists in a haze of many manuscripts, most of which are undated, and each of which has a different look, feel, and content from every other manuscript. Some are finely calligraphed and relatively easy to read, while others are not. At his death, Baki's Divan probably included 650 or more poems, ranging from panegyrics and occasional verses to love poems, fragments, and even poems in Persian. We believe that there might be more than 200 manuscripts of Baki's Divan, but we don't know how many more. And we at the Raylands are lucky that our this one is one of those beautifully calligraphed copies. This
musical, even if it doesn't rhyme, because to rhyme in English you have to be an Alexander Pope or a Dick Davis. Maybe he does it very well. He's translated Attar into, well, roughly translated it. But then you see, if you try to rhyme in English, you have to sacrifice. You have to sacrifice some of the sense. And trained as an Iranist on pre-Islamic Iranian languages, I learned that you must be faithful, and that's not a fashionable word, but faithful to the text. And so I have to translate it into blank verse meter so that I have the freedom to translate it literally. If I translate it into verse, I'm having to scrabble around and change the meaning to adjust it to the English verse rhyme system. There are many other questions I could answer, but I think I've run out of time, so thank you for your attention.
Like Rose Garden means the word Gulistan by Sa'di is translated as Rose Garden. But Rubaiyat doesn't mean anything except portraying. So
it's poems.
It means poems in a certain rhymes in a certain verse form. So the Masnavi is written in couplets. So I'm not going to read the text, but it says Beshmi chun shikayat mikonan, and it reads that way. And then the second Mesra, as it's called, or pair of verses, starts there and reads from there, and then you go down. So that the actual Masnavi on the first page goes down to there, the first 15 or so verses, 16 verses, and then it carries on until the end. And so here we have, it says, Beshnevide Dustan in Dastan. Listen, O friends, to this story. So he then begins the first of many stories in the book. So the name of the book is Couplets, which is why my Penguin translation, which I first published, John Karen as a copy of, when it came out in 2006. Penguin only wanted one, because they said to me, well, why don't you just tell us what happens in the end? And I said, this is a mystical work. It is endless. You know, it doesn't have a conclusion like an Agatha Christie, a denouement. No. So it's basically preparing you for death.
So this
and his death in 1273. And then the manuscript that I've taken a picture of there is sitting in the Konya Mevlevi Musée, called in Konya, which is the city he lived in for his life, most of his life. There are no illustrations because it would be regarded as secularizing the book if there were any depiction of human faces, for example. Now, the difference is that in later manuscripts, like I just happen to have a copy of my book in my hand, and this is an illustration from a 16th century manuscript. In other words, it was written around about 1532, and so it is Safavid. This is a Seljuk. No, this isn't. But that manuscript that's printed over here, that is a Seljuk manuscript, which I'm going to talk about today, from the late 13th century.
Lots of pesticides, like raw natural things that are made of, natural materials that are attractive to certain plants. So we have to be very careful that we don't have anything that we can ship into. We have manuscripts that have been borrowed, so you have like a whole space that goes all the way through to the bottom where something. So yeah, the collection
Thank you.